Here's something almost nobody is talking about. Motorola just dropped two phones that directly challenge Apple and Samsung, but most people barely noticed. While tech fans were busy refreshing their feeds for yet another iPad Pro refresh, Motorola quietly unveiled the Moto X70 Air and the new Moto G100. And honestly, this might be one of the most underrated moves in the smartphone space right now. Here's why that matters. In a market dominated by the same two names, Apple and Samsung, most people don't even bother looking at alternatives anymore. It's almost like we've all accepted that premium means expensive and budget means compromise. Motorola seems determined to change that perception, not by shouting louder, but by delivering hardware that forces you to pay attention. The problem? Almost no one is paying attention. Take the Moto X70 Air. On paper, the concept sounds impossible. A 6mm thin smartphone with a 4800 mAh battery. Usually going ultra-thin means sacrificing power or battery life, but Motorola somehow skipped that trade-off. It's currently limited to China under the X70 Air name, but leaks and official teasers confirm it's headed to Europe soon as the Motorola Edge 70. And if the timeline plays out, it could actually land on shelves before Samsung's Galaxy S26 Edge even gets a launch date. A slim phone that beats Samsung to market? That alone should have made headlines. But here's the funny part. Instead of excitement, there's silence. Maybe it's the Motorola stigma, that mental filter where anything not Apple or Samsung automatically gets filed under nice, but not for me. Still, looking at the specs and pricing leaks, it's hard to justify that mentality. And then there's the Moto G100, arguably the bigger shock of the two. In a world where budget phones often mean bare minimum, Motorola is out here dropping a sub-$300 phone in Europe with a Snapdragon 7S Gen 2, a smooth 120Hz display, and a 7,000 mAh battery. Just think about that for a second. People are debating whether the iPhone Air at $999 is worth it. Meanwhile, this thing exists for under a third of the price and packs a battery that practically laughs at daily charging anxiety. I get it. Brand reputation matters, software support matters, and yes, Motorola hasn't always been perfect on updates. But can that really be a deal breaker when competing phones in the same price range often compromise on performance, display, or battery life? At least with the Moto G100, you're getting flagship-level stamina and respectable performance without needing to swipe your credit card like you're buying a laptop. Even beyond these two devices, the bigger pattern is becoming clear. Motorola isn't just throwing random models at the wall like some budget brands. There's a strategy forming. The Razr Plus 2025 is making foldables more accessible, the Edge 60 shows they can do refined mid-range, and phones like the Moto G86 Power 5G with a 6720 mAh battery prove they're willing to go all in on practical features instead of just marketing gimmicks. So here's the question. Why do so many people still overlook them? Maybe it's because Motorola doesn't dominate ad space like Apple. Maybe because you don't see their phones in celebrity hands or glossy product placement shots. Or maybe we've just gotten used to equating high price with high quality. But if you strip away the branding and look at the devices themselves, Motorola is hitting a sweet spot that the big players don't even try to touch. Phones that feel premium in use without premium pricing. Devices like the X70 Air and G100 don't just compete on value. They challenge the idea that innovation should cost $1,000. And honestly, that's refreshing. Not everyone wants to be locked into an ecosystem. Not everyone wants to spend $1,000 just to feel like they're keeping up. Some people just want a great phone that doesn't come with financial guilt. And right now, Motorola is building a lineup specifically for those people. Whether the market rewards that effort is another story. History shows that being good isn't always enough. You also need attention. And right now, attention is still heavily skewed toward the usual suspects. But maybe that's exactly why this moment matters. If consumers start looking beyond Apple and Samsung, even slightly, brands like Motorola are ready with actual hardware that delivers. You don't have to switch brands tomorrow. You don't even have to love Motorola. But at the very least, these new launches deserve a closer look. Because if a 6mm phone with a huge battery and a sub-$300 phone with a 7,000 milliamp hour cell can't get people to rethink their assumptions, what will? What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.